What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the PSN Party Podcast. I am your host this evening, BMG, and I am joined by Uncle Jimmy's other nephew, SSGsentienl, Sergeant Sentinel. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good. I see Uncle Jimmy sent you that copy of Last of Us. PS5. I was generous of him.
Yep. Yes, he did.
And our very special guest tonight, Luke Steele. How are you this evening, sir? That hurt my throat. That hurt.
Good. No, I'm better having heard the intro. Yeah, it amps me up. So I'm ready now to talk about how great Jim Ryan is.
Oh, it is. That's it. It's just that it just like that.
It just gets adrenaline going, and just gets me ready to talk about greatness. So I'm ready.
We have no limits here. No limits.
Exactly.
Only greatness.
Exactly.
So tonight we'll be looking at the PlayStation State of Play recap, what we thought of that. Elden Ring has announced a expansion, which is going to be exciting for a lot of people. Ubisoft have decided, hey, let's jump more into Assassin's Creed games if we haven't got another 6 already on the way. But before we get into all that, let's find out what everybody is playing. Sentinel, I'll come to you first, sir. I want to save Luke for last so we can quiz him.
Sure. I have been playing Atomic Heart, obviously. It's free on Game Pass right now, and I've been playing through it. Actually put together footage for our channel, XPN. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out whenever Ash gets it uploaded. I don't know if it's live yet. Also, I have been playing The Last of Us on PS5. My wife watched the show, and she was convinced that I needed the PS5 version of The Last of Us, so she bought it for me, and I've been playing through it. And there is definitely it's a lot smoother, and the character models look a lot better. So I will say so far that I am impressed.
Oh, right, because there's been a lot. I have noticed, like online, there's been a lot of comments and things about it. It seems to be buggy, not playing very well. A couple of issues here and there. Have you come across any of them? Or does it just seem to run fairly fine for you?
Yeah, it runs fine. But I mean, it could be different for people playing on different systems, I guess.
Yeah, because it's on Xbox Game Pass, but on PC, PlayStation, it's full price game, isn't it? Yeah. What about Marvel Snap? Have you been playing any of that?
No.
I posted one of my matches. I posted it on Twitter just to show how good I am, and didn't attract anyone to play, which is quite disappointing, really.
Yeah.
And they told me no. I asked, I said to them, says, "Can I have a hat? Can I have a T-shirt? I'll even pay for it." It's like, no, you're not having out. Like, okay. Horrible people, horrible. Is that been playing anything else, or is that all you've been on?
Yeah, so far that's it. That's it so far.
No, that's it. Fair enough. Now, Luke, I've got a feeling you've been playing something really, really good today. I've just got this feeling, there's something new in your life that, again, our Lord and Savior, Uncle Jimmy, has graced upon you. Would you like?
Yes.
Tell us all about the PlayStation VR 2. Let's get a review and your thoughts on PlayStation VR 2.
Oh, okay.
As best as you can.
As best as I can. Yeah. So I got my unit finally yesterday, and set it up. Which is the first impression is just how much easier that process is compared to the first PSVR. Everybody knows it, but it's just one cable straight into the PlayStation 5, USB-C, and then your controllers, and then you're away, and you go for it. So I've played quite a few hours now, actually, probably 5 or 6 over the last 2 days. and I've played what have I played? So I've played Call of the Mountain because I got the bundle with that game. I've played GT7. I have played the Star Wars Galaxy. I can't remember what the name is, but the Star Wars first-person game. There's a demo of that. There's a really good section on the store actually, which has a bunch. It's literally a demo bit, and you can go and download. I think it's like 8 demos or something.
Oh, okay.
Played that. I played a tiny sliver, just the tutorial bit of Resident Evil Village because that has a demo. Because I don't own that on PlayStation, I own that on PC. And I also played and bought a game called Drum Rocks as well, which is really like it's really fun game. So I've played quite a lot, and I guess like first impressions are that it's super impressive, and obviously I don't have like a massive VR background. I had the first one as you did, and then I've played like some VR headsets before, but on PC, but I've not had one, so I can only go on kind of my limited experience, but it's just really impressive, and the headset's really light, which is good, which I was worried about because I was thinking, that can fatigue you quite easily, but it's actually, I was surprised taking out of the box how light it is. The controllers are quite unique to get used to just because of the way you have to put your hands through them and stuff like that, but once you do, they've got all the kind of features you'd expect. They have adaptive triggers, they've got really good rumble. Battery life isn't fantastic on them so far, but then battery life on the DualSense isn't amazing either, so I guess it's just something endemic to PlayStation at this point. But the headset's great, it's very easy to put on, and then once you're in there, the kind of clarity of everything is really impressive. So it's not like, I've heard a lot of people being like, oh, it's super sharp, and it is sharp. It's not like sharp as in front of your 4K TV sharp, and it does have some blurring around the edges, which I think is quite common to a lot of headsets, but anything that you're focused on, that you're actually looking at, with the kind of the foveated rendering, is really sharp. And the first thing I played was Call of the Mountain, and just like the experience. So first of all, the experience just in the menus is very cool because you can set up eye tracking, so you can track your selection of menu items through your eyes, which is kind of like, that was really impressive. And you just press a button then when you want to select something. But then once you get into the game, you kind of start off in, as you've seen in the demo, or like anytime they showed it, you start off in a boat, but you've got a bag over your head. So you kind of just like glimpsing through stuff, and then the guy who's in there takes it off, and just like the scale of like what's going on is just like mental. I mean, it's just crazy, like seeing these kind of machines up close. Just the people, I spent about 5 minutes just looking at my hands because they were so detailed and they're like so sharp. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I've played quite a lot of that. The most impressive thing that I've played easily is GT7. That is like, even as not a huge racing fan, that's just bananas playing that game in VR. Just sitting in like being in a cockpit when everything is to scale is crazy. So that's kind of the thing that's really blown me away. But yeah, it's really good, man. Like it's really like, I need to get used to it because I don't have very good VR legs. So a lot of the motion, like Call of the Mountain, I Call of the Mountain, I can play for about 20 minutes and I have to put it down because it's like, I like feel too ill afterwards. GT7 I'm fine with, total no issues there. Anything obviously where you're not moving, I'm fine with. Village was another one that was really impressive, just for the bit I played, but again I struggled with the movement because I played it yesterday, so I'm just trying to build my legs up, which is a real thing. So but yeah, I'm really impressed with it so far.
Nice. How does that? So, because is it the is it pass-through site thing where it like maps your room and stuff like that? So does that actually work well? Because I had seen
really
some people complaining if like, depending if you didn't have a certain type of room when you did the scan, it wouldn't let you play that game. It would say, "No, I can't play it because you haven't got enough space."
Yeah.
Have you come across an issue like that yet, or
no? Not yet. Everything that I've used with it has been really like that. Experience has been really, really good. You basically scan your room and then it defines a play area, but you can edit that and kind of extend it or bring it in if you want. And anytime, actually, when you're playing anything, doesn't matter what you're playing or what you're doing, if you pause it and press the PlayStation button, there's a new VR tab, and you can actually select the VR tab and adjust your play area on the fly. So if, for example, you're playing like some game where you stood up and you've got a defined VR area, and then you quickly switch to a game where you're sitting down, you can just tell it that you're sitting down, and then it will map a new area for you. And it does that really seamlessly, actually. So I've not had a particular issue, but I think maybe for room scale games or ones that where you're doing room scale, so you need like a bigger area to move around in. You probably do need like a more specific area to actually like tell it this is my area, because it would probably reject if you didn't have like a square or a big circle or something like that. Yeah, but generally the whole setup and kind of area stuff has been really, really good.
Oh, awesome. Yes, because obviously you'd ordered it, you pre-ordered it, got it, but obviously you had to wait a little bit of time after release date to get hold of it. It's Uncle Jimmy just keeping it out your reach just that little bit longer.
Just slightly, yeah. He's just teasing me with it. But I've got it. So I'm gonna, and also the Star Wars game I should mention, which is I think was a Quest game. They've upped the visuals here, but that like being in that, I think you'd absolutely love that. Like you get to like take out a blaster, and like the blasters overheat, so you have to like cock the cooling barrel and do all this stuff. And you've got like multi-tool, you've got like a kind of gauntlet on your wrist where you can press buttons to do different things. Like it's just like as a Star Wars fan, it's pure fan service, but it's so cool to do it. So yeah, you can see the Millennium Falcon in the bit that I played. Like you're kind of just above it. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Oh, one day soon. One day I will convince the wife to part with her money for
part with cash. Yeah,
she does. Well, she buys me all my consoles and stuff. Yeah. That's it. I behave. I earn my pocket money, and then she gets me things. But yeah, no, it's brilliant. No, it's glad to hear that, because I've said, well, I know we've been chatting the group and stuff and that, and how the experience with VR. But yeah, I'm surprised you haven't got it on, sat on the show with it on, doing the show in VR. That'd be cool.
I know.
That'd be cool.
Maybe
in the future.
Next time.
We can blow in the microphone. You can feel a tickle on the back of your neck or something.
Yeah, lovely.
Do it again.
Do it again. Jim.
Just coming behind you going
doing his best Hannibal impression.
That's it. What have I been playing? Well, as always, and I will continue to play on a daily basis, Marvel Snap, the Game of the Year for Game Awards and Game of the Year for the XBN, best mobile game going, and it's part of greatness, Everyone will be on it as soon as Sony, builds their own type of one as well. That'd be fun. Imagine if they had one with all PlayStation characters and things like that from past and present. That'd be awesome. Oh, I need that now. Hang on, let me give Jim a ring. Other than that, I jumped into a bit more of WWE 2K22. Me and Ash decided, we had couple of hours spare for a couple of nights, so we thought it'd be fun to jump in, because last time we played, we absolutely kicked ass. We just laid people out. I think we lost one match out of 4 or 5. Did really well. Not this time. Arse kicked repeatedly. We had like battle royales. I was always the first one out. Elimination chamber. I was the first one out. I was like, nah, I've had enough of this. We did 8-man tornado tag, TLC, first man out. And I just kept changing characters, but I just got backside kicked every time. So I've gave up on that now. I've kind of said, no, I'm going to have to retire my wrestling career, I think, and come up with something else to do. But other than that, that's all I've really played, to be honest. I've not had as much free time as usual, but we'll see what the next couple of nights bring, see what I can get into, and go from there. Right, let's jump into some topics, I think. We might as well start with the recap of the state of play. Very, very decisive if it was good, if it was bad, it was okay. There was a number of announcements made, VR games, third-party games. But I think it was Jeff Grubb that kind of said, it's going to be more of a smaller thing. It's not going to be a huge thing. Don't expect a lot. PlayStation did say there's no first-party stuff. It's all partnered stuff. So to try and get expectations in check. But I think a lot of people were hoping on Metal Gear Remake was going to be announced and things like that. And to be fair, I was hoping on the Metal Gear announcement, but I think something like that makes more sense for like a big showcase. So I know Konami have got stuff to show this summer. Whether it's something that they're going to do at one of the other third-party showcases or if they're going to have a thing on their own, I don't know, because I don't think Konami normally do anything actually as a standalone, do they? Yeah, they don't do anything like that. So I'm assuming if we're going to see him anywhere, it's going to be somewhere with Sony. To be honest, I think if we're going to see something, but we'll see. Right, let's get into it. This is from the PlayStation blog. I'll just go off in the order that they put it in, so I don't think it's in quite in the order that they showed. But let's see what we got. So we've got the atmospheric sci-fi western roguelike, The Froglands. Foglands, not Froglands. Foglands launches on PSVR 2 this year. Did that interest anyone? Did anyone like the look of that? I think Foglands, was that the space one on the space station? I can't remember that one.
No, I think it was the one... It was in Foglands, I remember. It was kind of like gloomy first person. I think it was a VR game, wasn't it? Yeah, because they started off with the 5 VR games.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Out of which I think that was the one that interested me the most, because I think it's like a first person roguelike. And it looked a bit different.
Yeah. Again, it's out of the games that were shown, I think there was only one that I really like the look of, and it's one where you're like on this space station or something like, I think it was a space station, and there was something going on, and you had to kind of choose what side you was going to help or something along them lines. It looked really interesting. And the blinking one, I'm screwed because I blink constantly, and when it tells me every time I blink it's going to change, I'm screwed. It's just not going to happen. Next on the list, dive into the jungle with Green Hell VR on PlayStation VR 2 out in 2023. Was that the one in the jungle?
Yeah.
Was it it was like a jungle survival, looked like a bit of a survival game.
Oh yeah.
You know what, Luke, did you ever actually play Green Hell? Because a lot of people didn't. I picked it up. At times it seemed overly complicated. You have a game like Far Cry that kind of simplifies it, but Green Hell is a lot more complicated, for better or worse. So I think if people enjoyed like the game where you got stranded on that on the desert island or whatever the hell it was. Remember, it's like Stranded, I think is the name of the game. For people, I think that enjoyed that type of experience, I think they would enjoy Green Hell, and of course Green Hell VR. Because it's good at what it does, but I think it's the survival and crafting mechanics are a little too. It's not something you can just pick up and play. You actually have to learn it. So, I'm not sure if the VR crowd is going to devote time into something like that. I guess we'll see, But a lot of these PSVR titles, it just feels like you're able to pick it up and you don't really have to spend much time learning how to play it. But like with Green Hell, you got to learn how to play it, so who knows if it's going to do well. So when I saw it in VR, I was kind of like, I know what the game is about. But with a lot of these games, especially that you don't really have to do much learning to effectively play them well. With this kind of game, I'm like, if someone could afford 1 or 2 games and they really wanted to devote time, Green Hell VR would be great. But to those that might not have the time, they might pick it up and be disappointed. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, so it's like that survival where you're gonna like build things, craft, eat, drink, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think Far Cry kind of got a lot of us spoiled because Far Cry isn't really survival. I mean, yeah, you're out there in the jungle in Far Cry 3, but it's nowhere near as in depth as this crafting and all that other stuff. So it's like people I think before people pick up the VR version, they should definitely check out the console version first, just to get an idea of what they're gonna be facing.
Yeah, because it's like when the PSVR 1 launched, it came with like this really, really cool demo. You loaded in, you had like this light thing that flashed around, and then it lit up this huge it was like a room in a museum. It was like this big, huge archways, and then you had all the titles. And when you looked at the titles, it's like the background changed and all that. And it was a really, really good demo. They did I can't remember the gangster one. It's where you was like a diamond, a heist one. It was really good, and the shark attack, and then there was the was it had something to do with Astros was in there?
It was the VR Astrobot platformer game.
That was fun. That was really good. But it's and I'm surprised they didn't do something like that this time, or is it just because they needed to get the headset out? Did they not have time? But then again, when you get released with a big game like Horizon, Call to the Mountain, looks like it, I would just throw up because I don't like heights, and my mind thinking I'm climbing a mountain and jumping up it is just like, that would me dropping to the floor. I remember when PSVR first come out, I picked up it was that Eve game, space game. And,
Eve Online.
Yeah. That's it. So sat in the cockpit and all that, looking around, thinking, "Oh, this is amazing! This is amazing!" And then it fires you out a tube into space, and it like spins you around and then straight again before it stops. Headset came off. I went and curled up in a ball on the couch, and I think I shaked for about half an hour. It was like, no,
it's weird.
No.
It's weird, isn't it? 'Cause my wife was playing VR earlier, and I warned her I had some motion sickness yesterday, particularly on Horizon, so just be wary. And she put it on, she was like, no problem, no issues, like moving around. I was like, oh, God's sake. And then I was like, oh, she tried GT7, and she went into a race, 5 seconds, nope, headset off, like just couldn't motion sick straight away. So it's kind of weird how like different VR things like trigger motion sickness in people, whereas I'm like totally comfortable in GT7. I think it's because like you're in a car, so if you were in a car in real life, you are moving, but you're not like your mind is conditioned to be in that area, whereas obviously in Horizon, when you're running, you're not actually running, and that's the thing that's tripping me up. My mind's like, no.
Screws your brain up. See, my favorite experience with the VR, which I'm hoping they'll either bring a second one out or they do an updated version for the VR2, is Star Trek Bridge Crew. That was so much fun. Cool, you've actually got to work together and fly the ship and that. And obviously, you're just stationary. You can look around, lean, move, push loads of buttons just for the fun of it. Captain just set off red alert, and it was just fun. I'd love that. And Werewolves Within. I'd love a second one to that. That was a fun game. Yeah. Right, what's next on our list? Synapsis brings dual-wielding VR action exclusively to the PSVR 2 this year. I don't remember this one.
I remember that one. That looked quite. I think was it Snap or was it Synapse? I can't remember.
Synapse. It might be the way I'm pronouncing it.
That one was it was kind of like a grey environment, first person, but the character had like telekinesis powers and guns.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
The color from that. That actually looks really, really cool. I love the idea of having telekinesis powers in VR. I think that's. I mean, it's basically being a Jedi, isn't it?
That's it. Just picking them up and throwing them. And stuff.
So I thought that came on my radar from that because I thought it looked really cool.
Right. Now you said that, I remembered it. Yeah. It's all grey and there was a bit of colour and the more stuff you do, and that comes in. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to eventually being able to play that. And here's one for everyone part of XPN and community that love this game more than anything on the planet. Destiny 2 Lightfall, we got the launch trailer for out yesterday. In fact, it dropped yesterday, and sadly not picked it up yet. I've got too much to do in Destiny. I really don't need to buy the next expansion just as of yet, because I've got too much to do. But it looked good. Some of the changes they've made in it, the things they've had, quality of life improvements, done away with some more stuff that has kind of been made redundant over time, and it's looking like to be one of the best expansions they've actually ever done, compared to when I think the last really good one was Taken King, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to actually picking it up and playing it, but it's not on the front of mind at the moment. There's other stuff that I want to play before I even need to get back round to Destiny. So, either of you still play Destiny or interested in the Lightfall?
Not really, no.
Wow. I thought the trailer looked great. I thought it was a really cool trailer. But yeah, it's difficult, like lapsing in Destiny at any time and then coming back into it. It just feels quite overbearing. So, I might get it. I might do, but it depends. I'll probably have like a desire to go and loot something at some point, and if that happens before Diablo 4, then I'll probably get Lightfall and run through it just for that. So,
you're going to get Lightfall. You're going to get Lightfall.
Yeah, I probably will. Yeah, I mean, I'll get it. The thing is, I really like Destiny. It's just that it's having the time, and then it's having the kind of like. There's also kind of the pre-time that you need for Destiny to be like, okay, I need to actually research like what's going to happen as a lapsed player and what I need to do. Like, and I know they boost your levels now in the your light level, etc., for every new expansion, so that's good. But it's also like just getting back into the feel of the game and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I'll probably get it at some point.
Yeah, that's it. It's like I jumped away from Destiny for a bit, playing other stuff. The last time I jumped back into it, I had about 30 pop-ups because I'd missed all this stuff over time. So the time eventually got past that, things had changed, things had moved, stuff had gone that I had. Couldn't remember what I was doing. So it's like, I'll come back to it. I need like that dedicated time to sit down, to get through it and actually catch up. But it's like usually all the usual people I play with on Destiny, none of them have really got time at the moment. And it's one of them games I don't like playing on my own. I like grouping up and playing with friends, which makes it a lot more interesting and, more fun to play. But I'll get around to it. I'll get back to it. Next on the list, Humanity. Intriguing puzzler gets new gameplay details and demo release today, which you can play at part of the state of play. I think a lot of people forgot about Humanity. That was actually shown when they first shown off the PlayStation 5. When they announced the PlayStation 5, showed it off, Humanity was actually shown, because it was like showing, look how many characters you can have running around on the screen at one time. And
okay, yeah.
And originally it was meant to drop last year but kind of then just sort of disappeared. But yeah, it was originally announced on when the PlayStation 5 was revealed, when they showed that select number of games, which most people seem to have forgot. Sentinel, did you see that game? Is it something that you would play?
The Humanity game where they had all those little people walking around?
Yeah, it's like a Lemmings, isn't it? It's like Lemmings is probably the closest thing you would say I would suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. You know, I'm always looking for different types of games. You know, you have some gamers that it's just like FIFA, Call of Duty, Madden. That's pretty much what they play. Some of us, you know, we're looking for different experiences, even if we're not going to be playing it like every single day. It's just you want to have different types of games like these that you can check out. It looks interesting. It's an interesting concept. You know, ironically, this is actually how people are, you know, in real life. They just kind of follow the crowd. So for them to put that in a game, it's very interesting. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looks good. Luke, is it something you're interested in? If it's in VR, comes to VR, get a patch.
I've got the demo downloaded, so I need to go and play it. But yeah, I was really interested in it. Actually, I thought it was one of the best things at the showcase, because it's just so different. And I think it's the creators of Rez and Tetris Effect, which, you know, both really, really crazy but really good games. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try the demo. And the VR thing, you know, the fact that you can kind of, I think in VR it's like diorama style, so you can see everything that's going on. So that should be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, no, looks interesting. Looks good. Does look fun. I'm assuming it's probably going to be one of those that when it actually launches, I've got a feeling it's going to be a PlayStation Plus extra thing, as well as buying it, because it's one of them games. You know, personally, any more than $19.99, that would be pushing it. You know, depending on how many. But then again, you look at when they sort of showed off at the end, if I remember rightly, that you could like build all these cool puzzles and environments to do it yourself and other people to play in community. So if they can build up enough of a following to get people into that, yeah, it'd be quite interesting. And that's the next game on the list, Journey to Foundation. For the PSVR 2, that's the one that's on the space station, where there's like some sort of conspiracy or something that's going on, and you're sort of there, and that's the one.
The Isaac Asimov based game, isn't it? That one, I think. Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. It's weird that they're doing games based on Isaac Asimov's, you know, books. I just find that so bizarre. But cool, really cool. I mean, it, you know, one of the fathers of sci-fi, effectively.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I thought it looked good. Looked, you know, not super high budget or anything, but I don't think it needs to be. Like, if the mechanics are, I think that's a good thing about VR in one sense. Like, I don't think stuff needs to be like super high fidelity, because as long as the mechanics are really fundamental, you'll just immerse yourself anyway. So I think, like, if you're doing a space game, as long as it looks decent enough, which this does, then hopefully it'll be a cool experience.
Yeah, definitely something I want to play. This is it, but the way I look at it is wait for a while for my PSVR 2. So by then there should be a lot more games out for it, more stuff that I want to play, and I can sort of justify the price for it. That's it. I personally myself, I look at it and think what's on offer isn't worth that price tag just yet. But I'm very easily swayed, so we'll see. Next on the list, I'm gonna butcher this name. Is it Tisha? TCHIA?
I think
Set
it's
Sail. Chia. That's it.
Yeah,
proper say. But
some people keep saying Tchia, but I don't think that's right. I think the T is supposed to be silent.
Yeah,
I think it's Chia. Yeah.
Well, it's like I only found out today that Hyundai isn't actually Hyundai; it's Hindi.
Yeah, Hyundai. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's not, it's Hyundai.
Hyundai.
It's like
That's what everyone. That's what everyone in the north of England says for Hyundai.
Yeah. Hyundai or
Hyundai,
Hyundai, one of two. But yeah, when it was, I heard an advert and I was like, nah, that's not right. This is taking the mickey. But no,
wrong.
Apparently so. Us Northerners, we have our own way of doing things. But GS set sale on PS4, PS5, March 21st as part of the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium service. So look forward to that if that's anyone you're interested in.
Looks really cool, actually, that one. So
yeah,
I'll be playing it, and I think it's a good get for PS Plus as well. So
yeah, it's a huge open world sandbox, and it takes place, I guess, or it takes place in a world that's based on New Caledonia, whatever country that is. And they said they created iconic landmarks, populated the world with the local wildlife, and even told the story using local languages, which is really cool. I think that's really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hi, Indie Gamer. Yeah, I butcher names. I am no good at them whatsoever. And any word that I look at and go, I've got no chance. Yeah, bit too much of a dum-dum. Right, what's next on the list? They had a closer look at the PSVR 2 narrative adventure Before Your Eyes, which launches on March 10th. That's the blinking one. That is the one that I don't think that I'll be able to play because I would miss half of what's going on because I'd be blinking every 2 seconds. I won't be able to help myself.
To get little matchsticks inside.
Yeah. Snapping, sticking in my eyeball. It's a good mechanic.
Really cool mechanic. I thought it just looked like such a great concept. And it seems like the story will be quite emotional, I guess. Which I'm all for, really, because it's just a different kind of experience. So I think that could be really good. So I'll definitely be getting that one.
I did like the fox in the suit. That freaked me out a bit. I've got to think about animals wearing suits. It's just some.
You don't like anthropomorphized animals.
No, it just sounds like makes me skin tingle. It's just wrong. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Like clowns. I can't stand clowns, and the thought of a clown coming near me just makes me want to punch it. I just no, can't do it. What else do we get? We got the Street Fighter 6, where they revealed the 3 characters: Cammy, Lily, and
Zangief.
Zangief, that's it. Yeah, couldn't say that word either.
Who, the Russian guy?
Yeah.
Zangief. He was he was in Wreck-It Ralph. Zangief. That's how they pronounce it.
Wreck-It Ralph. I love that film.
Yeah, because remember he said just because you're a bad guy does not mean you are a bad guy. Remember?
Yeah.
You gotta watch more movies and less drinking. I'm telling you, man.
No, it's not. It's not that I don't watch enough movies. It's I'm only semi-sober when I watch them. So,
I see.
The amount of cinemas I've been kicked out of because I'm knocking bottles over. I'm trying to put my legs over the seats in front. Yeah,
you just got to keep your pants up and you won't get kicked out.
I should keep my pants on. That's my issue.
Yes.
It's frowned upon in the cinema, which I discovered one time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Zangief was in the movie, Wreck-It Ralph.
He was. Yes, I do remember now. Well, speaking of films, it's not a film; it's TV. Episode 1 of Mandalorian season 3 dropped today.
Yes,
be watching that later.
Just before coming on.
Is it good? Don't tell me
it's the Mandalorian. Of course it is. Yeah.
You know what? I haven't watched any episodes of The Mandalorian because I've really been hesitant. Because it's like since Disney got a hold of Star Wars, it went from like S tier down to like B or C. It's just not as good as it was before they got a hold of it. So I'm hesitant.
What happened was that the movies kind of went downhill.
Shit.
Yeah, like not great. Some highlights in them, but not great. But the TV shows have picked up the slack, basically.
Right.
So The Mandalorian is probably one of the best Star Wars things ever made, like pieces of media, easily.
Yeah, I keep hearing that too.
Yeah. So,
highly recommend watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So have no fear about watching that, because it's terrific.
You know, I did see bits and pieces of the Obi-Wan show. It's like good, I kind of pick and choose about what I watch. I saw the part where Darth Vader caught the aircraft in the air, and I was like, finally, they're showing his power. Because in the movies they didn't really. And then Luke Skywalker, trying to fight Darth Vader like he'd been drinking Foster's all day. It was ridiculous. Return of the Jedi. Completely horrible, but it's a good movie. So, but then, like, you're right. The movies when Disney got a hold of them just went completely downhill. Yeah, the choreography was pretty good, but everything else was pretty much shit. So,
yeah, I'd say like the Obi-Wan starts off a bit slow, but like especially the last 2 episodes are very very good, very good. But yeah, the TV show's a lot better. They've done the animated series as well. Bit of that's really good. It's not in English,
right?
I don't remember. Yeah, no, it's not in English. Or was one episode in English and some were in because I'm sure they weren't in English. I'm sure only one episode was in English. That animated one they did with the shorts.
Oh yeah. So some of them definitely aren't in English. Yeah, because they got a bunch of creators around the world, didn't they, to make like a Star Wars, like different Star Wars shorts. And some of them were like Japanese ones, for example, and all Japanese VA. But that was really cool. Actually, it was really good.
Yeah, but I had a go at my eldest son because I thought because he likes to like mess with me now and again, and I thought he purposely like changed the language to like Japanese or something. And I couldn't figure out how to change it back, but he hadn't touched it. No. But no, yeah, you've got to watch Obi-Wan, you've got to watch Mandalorian. But don't dress up. That's what I did. When I was watching Obi-Wan and I knew the fight was coming up, I went and got my Darth Vader outfit on with me. Lightsaber, and I was like stood on the couch whacking it around, and wife shouted at me, telling me it's a sofa, you're not meant to stand on it, and she took it off me. She took it off me. Gutted, absolute gutted. Wow. Anyway, back to State of Play. Goodbye Volcano High launches this June on PS5 and PS4. What the hell is that game?
I have no idea.
It's like a anime style narrative adventure game, I guess. Not even adventure, probably just narrative led.
Are they dinosaurs?
It's a bit like a 2D Life is Strange or something like that, isn't it? But it's dinosaurs, and obviously they're talking about just before the meteorite hits. Like that's the premise. It's like, the meteorite's going to hit, so what do we do?
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people being like, I didn't know it was about dinosaurs, and I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, that's cool, and I'm like, yeah, it's when the meteorite hits. First of all, it's in the logo, and like that whole trailer, it's them talking about like what's going to happen, and then people are like, oh yeah, all right, cool. So I like the premise actually. I don't know if I'll play it, but I like the premise a lot. Weird, but it's a bit different.
I thought it was just about like joining a band. I thought that was the whole point in it, like because 1 minute they're talking away, and then they're doing playing in a band. Like, what the hell's going on? And then 2 of them talking in the car. Since when did dinosaurs drive? Since when did dinosaurs go to school? They might drive a freaking car.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's too head trippy. There's not enough alcohol or vape in the world that would keep me sane for that, I'm afraid. But yeah,
wow.
Yeah, but again, that was another one that was actually shown on the PlayStation 5 reveal.
Yeah. Well, I remember that one specifically.
Yeah, a bit head trippy, but you never know. Could be good. Baldur's Gate 3 launches on PS5 August 31st, and This is the one that's had the bit of controversy around because it's not launching same time on Xbox. I won't say it's not launching on Xbox because they have come out and said they're working on the version, because everyone straight away was jumping on poor old Uncle Jimmy saying you bought another exclusive, it's never coming to Xbox, and it turns out no, that's not the case. It just needs more time because we're having technical issues, but maybe they can involve another studio, maybe, Microsoft, maybe they could help with them on that end of it. But do you think there could be anything that PlayStation may have chucked a bit of money at them, or do you think it generally is just a technical issue? It's not a game I would play, so
I think the elephant in the room is the Series S. Unfortunately, they're talking about not getting or having technical issues with the co-op, split screen co-op. And I mean, if 343, Xbox's own studio, couldn't get split screen to work, obviously because of the lower denominator, which is the Series S, you can't expect third parties to do it either. It's like outside of like Borderlands, I don't really know of any games off the top of my head that have maybe Gears of War that have split screen on the Series S, but it seems like that's a big issue. And so for Baldur's Gate to have it, I mean, that's got to be hell to get it to run on the Series S. So a lot of people jumped on them because, of course, at a state of play, they're like, oh, available on PlayStation systems. It's like, well, they're probably not going to say it's coming to Xbox, But later, when everyone was, losing their minds, they said, hey, it's because of technical issues, because of, split screen co-op. So,
yeah.
I don't think PlayStation threw any money at him. I just think that it's a multi-platform game, but unfortunately they're trying to iron stuff out before they give a release date because they're not sure if they can even do it.
Yeah. I mean that's what they said, Larry, and they said, look, it is in development, but we don't like to announce things until we're kind of confident that it will work almost. So that's they will announce it because I'm sure they'll resolve the co-op issue, but it was pretty big of them because I didn't really think they had to come out and say what they did, but props to them for actually coming out and being like, just to shut this down quickly. No, we don't have any exclusivity. We've not, nobody's paid for anything here. It's just that we're just not ready to announce that other version, basically. So
that was a good move on their part, though, getting ahead of it, because they saw it developing on Twitter and they said, you know what, we're going to come out and talk about this so that there aren't any misconceptions, so that people know exactly what the situation is. And by doing that, I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's okay. You're still going to have people talking about PlayStation paying for exclusivity, but with them saying, hey, you know what, it's just because of technical issues. It's not because of any other reason. It almost completely defeats that narrative.
Because Xbox have that policy, is if it's going to run on both the Series S and the X to release on the platform, which maybe as time goes on they may drop that. Maybe if it's literally can't run on the Series S but the X, maybe they sort of waver with that maybe in the future. Because obviously if more and more developers are starting to complain and say there's an issue and they can't do this and it's causing delays, then maybe it's something they're going to have to look at, because like Series S was kind of the helping people with a lower budget or picked up a PlayStation 5 as the main, and the Series S was kind of a cheaper option onto the Xbox side.
But PlayStation 5 was forward thinking in this aspect, because you look at the diskless drive, which is $100 less, and the version with the disc, they both have the same amount of terabytes. It's essentially the same power. So you can get a console that's $100 cheaper, a PlayStation console, but it's still able to run the same level of, graphical fidelity and all that stuff. It's just you can't use a game disc. I kind of feel like Xbox probably should have done that, where they said, hey, we have a Series X without a disc drive and it's $399 instead of $499. That long term, that probably would have been the smarter decision. So it kind of feels like in that respect, PlayStation was much more forward thinking. And of course, with their hard drives, like when I first bought a PS5, I put a brand new hard drive in mine, 2 terabyte, very simple, comes with a heat sink, and it's easy to swap out. It's not that expensive, but the Xbox, of course, has the issues. So it feels like that's why you're going to see, as this generation go on, there be more issues with third-party games with Xbox, but not with PlayStation, because the cheaper version of the PS5 is the same level of power and graphical fidelity as the more expensive version.
Yeah, and I think also, like, I've not got the numbers to hand. I think I did see a post. I think VGC posted something about how the PlayStation 5 is currently outselling the Xbox Series X and S, or it gave how millions of consoles that were sold, and it's pacing quite far ahead of it at the moment. But it's like now PlayStation now that they've solved this shortage in getting consoles, you're seeing adverts everywhere. You know, they're making a big song and a dance how you can walk into a store now and get a PlayStation 5, get it on Amazon, get it online, and they're doing that from PlayStation 5 Live, aren't they? Then like news adverts and that, and making quite a big song and a dance about it. I think Jez Corden was when he was in Brussels. He said every other bus he's seen was PlayStation, and it's like, where's Xbox? Why are we not seeing more Xbox advertising? And that's just one thing that Sony just do better than Nintendo, better than Xbox, better than anyone, to be honest, is their advertising and PR when it comes to games and, the messages they want to put across. They're just superior. It's everywhere. You see it everywhere. And especially in the UK, I don't know what it's like in America or, the little small island Luke comes from.
Just no advertising here at all.
You just get your first game stuff
now. Yeah,
yes,
we just got
can,
our first game. Yeah. There's a really great independent game store here, which is like the main go-to. But you can walk in there now and just buy PlayStation 5, for example. Like they just have them, which is
very nice. Cool. And it feels like, you look at the state of play with them devoting a good amount of time to the PSVR 2. They know that Xbox has a potential to catch up, but it's kind of like a race. They're not necessarily running faster than Xbox. They just know they have to maintain their current speed, and they'll be able to outpace them. That's what PSVR 2 is. That's what you look at, like Astrobot, the Astro Playroom that comes with the PS5. And then, of course, you look at all these games that are coming with the PSVR 2. It offers different experiences that you just can't find on Xbox. And I think that's why a lot of people still see PlayStation, the PS5, as the premium gaming console. And then, of course, you have like Baldur's Gate 3. Split screen co-op, no problem. Xbox, we're having issues. So you still have a lot of people that are resistant to even check out Xboxes, but they're like, PS5 is their go-to console.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's just hard. It's like, don't get me wrong. Xbox have got some good games, and there's a lot on there I enjoy playing. But when it comes to experiences, I just think PlayStation have the better catalog, the better variety. I have numerous arguments with Redders on XBL because he just says every game's the same with a different skin, and we have this bit of back and forth, but it's what sells. And I think I can't remember who it was. I had an argument with about Last of Us Part 1 being remade for PlayStation 5, how it's a waste of money, and they shouldn't do it. There was no need for it. No one asked for it. They've just remastered it. Why do we need another? And my argument was because there's a TV show coming out. They want to sell PlayStation 5s. That's what it's aimed at.
And I was actually in that camp that said, you know what, there's no reason to have this game because you got the PS3 version that was remastered. But when you go from the PS4 version, which is remastering the PS3 game, to the PS5 remake, the frame rate is stable. I mean, the characters look much more lifelike. It's noticeable right away, the much higher quality. And it looks current gen. Yes, it's a remake of a 2013 game, but it looks current gen. And everything is just so much better looking, and it's so much smoother. And it's like, if you don't have the money, I mean, you could stick with the last one, but if you upgrade to the PS5 version, you're definitely going to feel like you got your money's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. I want to play it. I do, watching the show makes me I really want to pick up the game. I picked it up on and off over the years. Never actually fully finished it. And I think I've said this before, but it's it's an amazing game. I struggled with a lot of the mechanics because I was that used to Uncharted and I was trying to play Last of Us like Uncharted, and you can't do that. You can't. You die very quickly, and but I think I want to play on the PlayStation 5. It's the version I want to play. I'm kind of going through this phase now where if it's not optimized for the consoles, whether it be Xbox or PlayStation, I don't think I really want to play it now because I'm just used to playing games a certain way now at the higher frame rates, the better fidelity, and then to go back to a game that it's like 30 frames and it's choppy. It's like I can't play it. I'm the current gen snob. I think that's where I'm at. I want it best. I want the best out of these consoles and games.
And you even have games like Ghost of Tsushima, which last generation it was still such a beautiful game, even on a base PS4, and it's gotten a PS5 version. That's obviously going to look better. I haven't picked it up yet, but I do plan on doing it. But it's all about giving, like I said, giving gamers the premium experience, and it kind of feels like with Xbox, it's hit or miss. They have some victories, they have some losses, but with PlayStation, it's a lot more victories because they have figured out what they have to do for success. We've been talking about all these games that they showed at the State of Play. Some of them were like, oh, we'll try them out. Some of them were like, that's not really interested for me. But they have such a wide array of different experiences that you can try out, both traditional and on VR, that you just won't find on Xbox.
Have you got the PlayStation Plus extra tier? Have you got the PS Plus?
Yeah, I got
Ghost of Tsushima.
PS Plus Premium, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, the PlayStation 5 version, is in that service.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy the game.
Nice, I appreciate it.
It's really good as well. I can't. Was it a free update? No, it wasn't. It was one of the £10 ones, wasn't it? One of the £10 upgrades. So I paid £10 for it because I'm a sucker. But
aren't we all?
Aren't we all? But actually, I'm not a sucker because it's really good. I mean, it's basically a 60 FPS update. With like DualSense 3D audio, a couple of other bits and pieces. But it makes a great game even better. Basically, it's like 60 FPS just completely, because I played that game on the PS4 Pro at 30 and it just completely transforms it. It's fantastic.
Well, when you upgrade one of these games to the PS5 version for $10, they also make use of the new controller features, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
they do.
Getting that to work just right, I mean, that's going to take a lot of technical finesse. So, I recently upgraded. I did the Uncharted upgrade for $10 for Uncharted 4 and then the Lost Legacy. I haven't played through them yet.
Worth every penny. Every penny.
Totally worth it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably play those after I finish The Last of Us, but I'm having a blast, and it looks so much better. It's amazing.
Yeah. Just make sure you switch with Uncharted 4, put it in performance mode.
Right.
Check, you can flick on the switch between them on the fly. You don't have to restart your game like you did at the start when they first did it. Now you can do it on the fly. Just literally leave it in 30 frames at true 4K, and you'll just looks amazing. But as soon as you move that camera, it just feels like it's stuttering. Then you switch it to the performance mode. Game still looks beautiful. It changes ever so slightly, but that smooth 60 frames, the DualSense features, worth every penny. Is that? Yeah, I bought it when they brought it out. I bought it. No, I pre-ordered it. The reason I pre-ordered it is because they gave me a free cinema ticket to go and watch Uncharted the movie. Well, so that's the only reason I pre-ordered. If they give me something free, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm half tempted to pre-order Jedi Survivor through Limited Run Games because I don't know if you've seen what they're offering. Obviously, you get the pre-orders with the game anyway, but you get a replica of Cal Kestis lightsaber on a stand, and it comes all in a box. And I'm like, $229.99. I'm like, I need a lightsaber.
Do it.
Don't be as long as you don't go down to the market and you're fighting people with the lightsaber, it should be fine.
No, my wife doesn't let me take my toys out the house anymore.
Right,
yeah, I'm not allowed anymore. So that won't be happening. Not allowed. I'm not even allowed to take me fake arm out with me when I go to work anymore. You freak a couple of people out because you touch them with it, and it's a big song and a dance about that.
Those older ladies, they appreciate it, but I get it.
Yeah. Some of them haven't been touched that way in a while.
Cheeky.
Anyway, right. I'll get through these last couple before we get to the kind of the bigger thing in the state of play, because we've been going on for an hour. Naruto X Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. Is that pronounced right? I have no idea. Did see this and have a clue what the hell was going on, what they were even talking about. It made no sense whatsoever. It seems to be one of them things. I'm guessing it's based on some anime thing that you have to be high as a kite to sit and watch and understand it.
Based on the Naruto anime,
yeah.
I don't know who that is.
It's one where you play as a blonde-haired ninja or something.
I think it's a collection of as in this thing they announced, it's a collection of 3 previous games or something like that, and then remastered or something. I'm not a Naruto fan.
So it's like the Sly Cooper collection was for the PS3, I guess.
But for Naruto, basically is what I can discern.
I'm not really into Naruto. It's like I'm into Dragon Ball Z, so I understand how fans of this franchise will be completely crazy for it. But like I said, I don't watch Naruto. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not really looking forward to this. But I'm happy that they're putting it together so that fans of this franchise can enjoy these games.
The last Japanese anime type thing I watched was when the original Pokemon TV show came out. And the film. Remember the film?
Film? Yeah.
And funny enough, right? And it was only because I'm back hooked on House of Cards and rewatching that series at the moment on Netflix. And I was flicking through, and it came up Pokemon the movie. The original movie. I thought, oh God, I've not seen that in years. And I'm like, that's not the movie. Because obviously it was all cartoon. They've redone it in 3D animation.
Oh.
They've actually redone the original film to make it's like I thought, I might actually sit and watch that one day. I'll sit with the dog so she can watch it with me. She'll be interested in that. Tell her I'm going to shove her in one of the tiny balls and throw her to fight and stuff like that. Oh, dear. We're getting late. Wayfinder, PS4, PS5 players get exclusive early access to the character-based online RPG in May. That's the... is it Warframe that's based on that type of game?
Yeah, it's like a fantasy style, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Digital Extremes are publishing it, but not developing it, so... But yeah, it's like that sort of game from the looks of things, but fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's character. It's character based online action RPG. Takes place in a shared world that we call Evanor.
Yeah, that's Warframe basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if people enjoyed Warframe, they're gonna enjoy this. But
that'll be Darren in chat. He loves Warframe. He's hooked on it. So that'll be him. What else we got? Resident Evil 4 trailer debuts, new action gameplay, announces Mercenaries mode with demo. Did they also announce, I can't remember if it was at the show or was it after, is there a Resident Evil 4 demo coming out?
Yeah, they announced it at the show that there's a special demo coming soon. Yeah, but they didn't say when. But yeah, there is one coming.
Nice.
I take it that was probably like, well, I would say probably the biggest thing for the show is more info on Resident Evil 4. Is that multi-platform or is it launch exclusive?
It's PS4, oddly, PS5, series consoles and PC, but not the Xbox One. So,
surprise!
No surprises there, I don't think.
Is that a day one buy for you, Luke?
Oh yeah, 100. Oh yeah, easy. Although the only question I'm having with it is, what do I want to buy it on? Because before, like a week ago, or a couple of weeks ago, it was 100% PC because their ports are generally quite good, and obviously, I can really max it out and make it look amazing. But then they said that they're building the VR mode for this remake as well. So I'm like, do I get it on PlayStation? Because then I can play it in VR. And that won't be ready at launch, but it is coming. So yeah, I'm a bit. I'm not sure yet. I'm maybe leaning towards PlayStation though at the minute.
Well, I think we both know that you're going to double dip.
Yeah, maybe.
You're going to get a PC, and then you're going to buy it in VR. That's sweet.
Maybe. To be fair, it depends as well. Like, if the VR version comes down the line, like 6 months plus or something, then it'd probably be on discount then anyway, on PlayStation. So maybe I'd just pick it up then, like at a GZ7. But yeah, maybe I'll double dip. I don't know. I'm mullering. I've got a couple of weeks to think about what platform
you've got time.
I've got time. Yeah, I've got time.
That's it. What about you, Sentinel? Is it Resident Evil? Are you a fan of that series? Is it you going to pick up the remake?
Yes, absolutely. I've been looking forward to Resident Evil 4 remake for quite a while. They're doing a phenomenal job with it. Obviously, with 2 and 3, they did a good job. I understand with 3, they cut out some content that got some people a little aggravated about it. But I never played Resident Evil 3, so whatever content they cut, I wasn't aware of it. But Resident Evil 4, I owned it on PS2, PS3. PS4, the Xbox One. I've played the hell out of it, so I'm really looking forward to picking it up. Again, like Luke said, I'm not sure if I'm picking it up, for the PS5 or the Xbox. I'm just not sure,
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of fell out. Like games with zombies and that now, it just bores me. It's like films and stuff. I just can't. It just seems to be one of them things. I just can't watch them, or they just bore me now. That it's just not as fun as it used to be. The last Resident Evil I played was 7 in VR. That was an experience playing Resident Evil. It was 7, 7, the one in the house 7, with the Hilly Billy family. That is freaky as hell. Playing that in VR, I could only do it in small bursts. I had to have someone sit in the room with me with the light on because I was just, in case I got a bit too scared. I could blame one of them for scaring me or something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy it more in VR because you feel like you're immersed in that experience. But I think the biggest issue was the balls and that on the. The wands were a nightmare because you were trying to fling around and chuck things and it just kept going out, knocking you off and stuff like that. But yeah. Is it the Village, Resident Evil Village, the VR? Is that launched? That's already out, or is that just in the launch window?
No, that's out. Yeah, I played the demo, just the tutorial area for that the other day. It's really awesome actually because. The tutorial just shows you how to use weapons. Basically, it's no enemies or anything. Like it's just so weird, like having a pump action shotgun and having to load it manually and then pump it. Like it's so cool. Like, and you just forget, like it's a natural thing to do. I imagine I've never held a shotgun, but in real life you would know to do that. But in a game, obviously you don't do any of that. But in the VR version, obviously you shoot and then you've got to pump action it again to shoot again. It's just like it just blew my mind. Like it was one of the best things I played. I only played like 2 minutes of it. Just messing with weapons was really cool. But I'm tempted to get it because I just want Lady Dimitrescu to chase me, and I'll willingly just sort of like let her catch me.
Stand on me. Stand on me.
So,
or you know you're going to use them DualSense controllers and you're going to be reaching up to see what you can grab.
Right out there.
See if you can feel. See if there's any tension.
But I think I think about like that game, and I think about all the different. I don't know if you haven't played Village, right?
No, I've not played Village. No, I've seen bits, but I've not played it myself.
I think about like all the moments in that game, like because it's pretty varied in kind of stuff that happens, and I'm like trying to think of what they would be like in VR. Obviously, Lady Dimitrescu is the one I think about often when I'm cold at night and need to go to sleep.
Me too. Me too.
But the other one, without spoiling too much, there's a section in the game called House Benevito, and it's like basically a haunted house. And there's like this section, which is one of the most like, because Resident Evil isn't very scary generally. Like it used to be in the past, particularly if you were younger. Like for me, it was scary in the past, but it's more like cheesy horror now, which is great and I love it. But there's only a couple of times where it's scary. Like Resident Evil 7, Marguerite, I found was terrifying. Like she was really scary. And this has that kind of moment when you're in the house. And there's this enemy that you have to run from, and it's just the most disgusting, grotesque thing I've ever seen in a game. And it's hot, and it screams down corridors and stuff. It's horrible, and I'm like, I don't know if I could like physically withstand like being in VR for that moment, like because and I watched a live stream of it the other day of PlayStation Access. If anybody's watched that, they did a full live stream, and they have someone called Dave who's terrified of like VR horror games generally, and they made him play that section, and he was just like shitting himself. And I'm like, I was pretty good. I found that section unnerving when I played it in 2D on a TV, so I can't imagine what it's like on VR. But maybe thinking of Lady Dimitrescu will just get me through it. Just reaching out, imagine that she's there.
That's it.
She's pretty tall. You gotta reach over your head.
I'm not very tall, so
you can feel the tension in the triggers as you're reaching up to.
Just like running, like jump into her arms. Yeah.
Oh, gee.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. You might be able to get use out of the haptics and the features in the headset and the controllers if she's like brushes the back of your head or something. It's like,
I was going to say it's got a head rumble as well, hasn't it? So you could, she could rub your head or something.
Oh, one day, right? I can imagine your missus comes in from work, sees you with the VR headset on, Resident Evil Village on, but you're laid on the floor going, "Stand on me, stand on me."
Stand on. Just play that section.
That's a completely missed opportunity. Capcom, Lady Dimitrescu, beach volleyball. There you go.
I
know, right?
Oh, it's just wrong. It's just weird how I bet that just wasn't the reaction they thought they would get. How many people will find her so overly attractive and want her to step on them? It's just crazy.
They were like, "What the fuck is wrong with people?"
Oh, issues.
Yep,
I'm all for it. And the last thing for the state of play was the very, 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 very disappointing, more deeper look at Suicide Squad, the game that nobody wanted.
Very divisive, it seems.
Rocksteady made the Arkham series, amazing games, absolutely brilliant, story-driven. Open worlds. The second two, first one more enclosed, but the characters, the story, the things you could do, amazing. What should we do? Let's do a worse version of Marvel's Avengers with DC. Everybody wanted to play Superman, Batman, the Flash. That's the game we wanted. The Justice League. Play as the Justice League. Not give us the Justice League, all the characters we want in a game, but make us play as the Suicide Squad.
I know. Play with Wonder Woman. I mean, play as Wonder Woman.
The only thing that would make me get this game is that King Shark can wear a Superman suit. That's the only thing that sold me on the game. The mechanics don't look that brilliant. You've got the characters zipping through. King Shark doesn't go zipping around, flying through the air and things like that. It just doesn't look right. The enemies did look very varied. Like helicopters and tanks and the big gun thing. You just shoot the big purple dot that's glowing to destroy them. Don't get me wrong, the customization looks good on the weapons and weapon skins and things like that. But other than that, it just looked boring.
What, you didn't like?
Very generic.
3? I mean, this is basically Crackdown 4, like, a lot of people pointed out. There you go.
Yeah, maybe that's what they should have made instead. Or maybe, I'm assuming, obviously, Warner Brothers games and stuff, they've had the merger with Discovery. There's been big changes. A lot of things have kind of gone on, and maybe that was sort of the thing that they had to do. They had to make a live service type game that's going to keep making them money to keep afloat. Maybe, there's probably a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're not aware of, maybe, and maybe they got told they had to do something like that. I don't know, but I just think it was a mistake. I think Suicide Squad's a mistake. Would I want to play it? Yeah, I do want to play it. I wouldn't pay full price for it, that's for sure. And I wouldn't play it single player. It's something I want to play with friends. But I've just got this feeling it's just not that good. When we saw it the previous time, it got me hyped, really hyped. And then when they actually show you a bit more of the open world, it's like everything sort of looks the same. Enemies all look the same. The enemies don't really seem to, like duck, cover, or attack or anything like that. They just run at you, and pretty much you just like mow them down or rip them apart. And some of the moves that they were doing look quite good, but it's just literally just stand there and take on waves or float through the air as a giant shark, So I found it very disappointing. Very, very disappointed with Suicide Squad, if I'm honest.
When was Rocksteady's last game? When did their last game come out? What was it? Arkham Knight, right?
Arkham Knight, so 2015.
So they've been working on this for 8 years.
Yeah.
And it looks in the shape that it does.
Yeah.
You know what? I guarantee that at some point they were not developing Suicide Squad. They were developing something else. And the boss...
They were making a Superman game.
Yeah, and the bosses at Warner Brothers told them, "We don't want you making that. We want you making this." I've said this. I've said this before. You look at Electronic Arts, how they're making single player games that people actually like. I think every game company has to go through their Battlefront 2 moment where they fuck up and where they're like, "Shit, we dropped the ball. We need to fix this." I think Suicide Squad is going to be that for Rocksteady. That's what I think. That they're going to be like, shit, we shouldn't have done that. Now we have to get something out the door to get the people back. That's what I think. That's how I feel about this right now.
Yeah, I think like another side to it is I think this is the game that could end up killing that studio because Warner, Discovery, they're going through this transition phase. They've been selling bits and bats off. Maybe they're going to end up being done with Rocksteady if this game doesn't do well. It could be wrong. This game could come out and actually end up being absolutely brilliant. We just didn't get to see enough.
That's tragic, though, because look at like 10 years ago. How many people would have rated Rocksteady as one of their top 10 studios? Tons of people, because Rocksteady has the talent, and when they're left alone, they have the ability to make great games, but you see games like this, and someone interfered with it, someone that doesn't understand what gamers really want. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. It's unfortunate to see that,
Yeah, we seem. It feels like we're sort of going through this phase now where live service games are starting to one by one start disappearing, or you know, if it's not a battle royale or a big successful like Call of Duty game or big single player game, things just seem to be disappearing, and it's a shame to see. What about you, Luke? What did you think of the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, just there's a lot wrong with what they showed, I think, from my perspective. Like I knew that this wasn't going to be like an Arkham game, and that I'd kind of accepted that a while back. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like all of their games can't be Arkham games. They have to try other stuff. But like, there's just so much wrong, I think, with the kind of foundations of that game. Like, I think, it's supposed to be a superhero game or a supervillain game, if you want to call it that. And you've got, as you said, like, you've got King Shark, like, flying through the air. You've got Harley Quinn flying through the air. Like, there's no superhero fantasy apart from, I suppose, Deadshot, because Deadshot acts as if Deadshot would act if, he was in a game, right? He's got a jetpack, basically, he can fly, and he uses guns, so he plays like Deadshot would play. Why is Captain Boomerang firing SMGs and shotguns? He's Captain Boomerang. It's in his name. Like, he's got, that's his weapon. King Shark is firing miniguns, SMGs. He's King Shark. He doesn't fire any weapons. He doesn't use weapons. Like the thing that got me was that, like, between each character, there is no discernible difference or game feel, seemingly, to who you play other than how you traverse the map. Because Harley swings, Deadshot flies, effectively, King Shark leaps, and Captain Boomerang can teleport, effectively, or blink. Apart from that, there's no difference. There would be no difference between playing Harley Quinn to Deadshot or anyone, because you could just equip the same weapon. So, like, there's no incentive to think, for this bit, I'm going to play as King Shark because I really need to brawl. Melee was basically non-existent in that demo, which I just found was bonkers. In fact, it's not bonkers. I get why. It's because fundamentally they designed it as a looter game, and you can't do looter games, really, if you have a focus on melee. You need, like, an outward weapon. So they needed to do all these, different types of guns and do the loot, and then I think the collective world eye rolled when the gear score page came up. The Destiny gear store page, and like with the power levels and all that sort of stuff and the numbers. So it was just like, oh my god, here we go. We got another. There's another one of these. And I think Stubbs mentioned it in the chat, but the thing is that this game, like, at the time it was made, live service was all the range, and so it made sense that you would maybe have this stuff. But now, like, just people don't want it. They just don't want it anymore. People don't have enough time. There's too many of them, and there's a kind of a distinct pyramid of live service games, and to try and get anywhere near the top of that, it's almost impossible now. And you're not going to do it with, like, a DC license, which, to be honest, isn't even one of the most popular DC licenses. It's like kind of maybe top half popularity. It's not particularly huge license.
No.
WB keep trying to make it through the films and stuff, and obviously now this game, but it's not going to be. So yeah, again, and also a thing that really pisses me off about this is that they kept saying, oh well, you can play it single player and stuff. You can play it single player. It's not designed as a single player game. It is not. No. It's not a single player experience. You're in there with 3 bots. That's not going to be fun. That's going to be stupid. And then that kind of, like, you look as well, and I was like, another one of the significant issues of that is, like, what were Rocksteady really good at? They were in the Arkham games. They were amazing at designing these indoor spaces that gave you different approaches to, how you would go about acting as Batman in them. It was kind of be the Batman. It was almost like immersive sim level. It wasn't, but that was the intention. And these areas were tightly designed. You can't do that in this game because you've got to, compensate for 4 characters in an area. So I just think most of this is going to take place outside in Metropolis. There may be some indoor areas, but they're going to have to be huge. And it's not as if you can, stealth as Captain Boomerang or King Shark or do anything like that. It's just going to be the same thing the whole game. And they've, like the trailer, again, another eye roll moment, when it has the purple weak spots and stuff like that. It's just, like, there was the only redeeming quality about what they showed was I thought visually it looked really nice. Like, clearly a very high quality, showpiece. A lot of effort has gone into building Metropolis. I thought that looked really good. Character models and design are excellent, really nice. The cutscene stuff looked pretty good. I'd expect the story to be generally quite good. But it's all wrapped in this horrible service game looter shooter thing, which is just the last thing that anybody wanted from Rocksteady. I can't get over that this is what they're building. It just makes no sense, and it has to be good now, because if it isn't good, it's going to flop hard. And I find it funny. I didn't know if people saw, but when they did that breakdown video with the devs, Sefton Hill was talking about it, who's one of the founders of Rocksteady with some other guy, I can't remember what his name is, and Sefton Hill was the creative lead for the Arkham games. He's left. He left a few months ago. That the other co-founder went as well, so they're both gone from Rocksteady now. And I don't know whether this game is something that prompted them to. I don't want to say that because we don't know, but I cannot imagine that this is creatively the thing that they wanted to make. That was the vision for the game, because why would it be after what they've made before? And the last thing I'll say as well is, like, people are like, well, you've got to trust Rocksteady because they've never let you down, and they haven't. They've made 3 fantastic, amazing games. I can't trust the dev who's gonna go from those games to a live service game, because that's a really difficult leap. A lot of studios have failed on that leap, to try and go into something live service. It just
Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics did exactly the same thing. I would have trusted Crystal Dynamics. They
BioWare.
BioWare, like, all delivered fantastic games before they did live service, and then they did live service. They found out this is really difficult, and they were all abject failures, and they had to basically shutter those games down. So it's going to be a really big effort for Rocksteady, and they may have to. I think it's you were saying, Sentinel. They may have to go through like that almost like BioWare did, right? That kind of recalibration, that failure to be like, okay, let's go back to basics. Let's make a Superman game, single player. Let's do a Batman Beyond game. Like, there are different options, but I just. And the funny thing about all of this is, I'll probably still play it. I would quite still like to, because I think fundamentally it might still be fun, but it's just not what I want Rocksteady to make at all. It's not what anybody want Rocksteady to make.
I did want to point out a couple of things that you brought up, Luke. Really good points. You brought up how, like all these different characters that you're playing as in Suicide Squad, there's not really much of a difference in how they traverse. And you look at the history of the Arkham series. Now, of course, Batman Arkham Asylum wasn't really wide open. It was very tight, very controlled, because, Batman has to fight these guys in close corridors. And it feels like with every game, they went more and more with verticality. But with Batman, that's not an issue. I feel personally that they should have gone to much tighter quarters for this game, especially since these characters they don't have a cape. They can't fly. You could say Deadshot could fly, but for the most of them, they can't fly. So keeping a game grounded like that in tight corridors, you can do it and have it succeed, but you have to really give a lot of thought about how you're going to do this. You look at the upcoming Wolverine game. It's made by Insomniac. Now, of course, Insomniac has been known recently for Spider-Man, which has huge traversal. You can traverse all over New York City, essentially. But for Wolverine, that they're not going to have Wolverine flying through the air and shit. They're going to have his combat. Even if it's in an open area, it's not going to have a lot of verticality. It's going to be much tighter. It's going to be more close combat. And I kind of feel like Rocksteady should have leaned more into that than have these 4 characters from Suicide Squad swinging around on the rooftops. It just makes no sense. The other thing is Suicide Squad is relatively unknown for DC. So was Guardians of the Galaxy. And I kind of feel like Warner Brothers looked at Guardians of the Galaxy coming out of nowhere, essentially, and said, hey, let's do that with Suicide Squad. Because our Suicide Squad is going to basically be our version of Guardians of the Galaxy. But they're ignoring, it's like they're ignoring the smart writing that you find in Guardians of the Galaxy with a lot of this stuff. And yeah, they brought over James Gunn for the movie adaptation. But it's not very likely that he had anything to do with the game. So it's like if you don't have someone writing this script and putting this game together, kind of the same way they did Guardians of the Galaxy, you're not going to see the same level of success that they want to see. It's unfortunate that they have to go through this, but I think you're exactly right. This is their BioWare moment, kind of like how they went through with Anthem, where they kind of learned the hard way. And I think some studios, that's necessary, because sometimes you get the most growth out of a significant failure like that, because you really have to stop and say, okay, we haven't failed like this before. What did we do that made us fail like this, and what can we learn from it, and how can we grow as a studio? So I kind of feel like, unfortunately, I think this game is going to be that for them. It's going to be that learning point. And it might still be fun, but it's just not going to be on the level that we've come to expect from Rocksteady.
Well, I think the problem you're going to have, though, it was James Gunn. He came out and announced, obviously, because they've taken over, the DC stuff.
Yeah.
He's already turned around and said, film, TV show, games, cartoons, they're all going to be linked. They're all going to connect to each other. Whoever's playing Superman in the film will be playing Superman in the game. And to be honest, I think that's putting Rocksteady in a very hard place, because whatever next game they do, it's what they're going to be told they're making. Again, but I don't think they're going to have that freedom they have with the Arkham series.
Yeah, but that's exactly the wrong step, though, because you look at like when Batman Begins first came out, Christian Bale, blonde hair, kind of slim. Rocksteady did not make Batman look anything like him. They had that creative freedom. And, Kevin Conroy, of course, the late Kevin Conroy voiced Batman. And yeah, Christian Bale worked in the movies, but in my opinion, Kevin Conroy is Batman. His voice was perfect, and the way they designed Batman to look in Batman Arkham Asylum, it was perfect, and it was different from the movies, but both of them worked in their respective mediums. And I feel like if Warner Brothers gets too involved and says, hey, you have to make Superman look exactly like this, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work. Stubbs is saying you don't really believe that, do you, BMG? I hope it's not true. I hope that someone talks sense into them and say that's not going to work. But at the end of the day, James Gunn's pretty much running the show. So they're going to try it. They're going to see what happens. You're going to see a game. You're going to see a film. You're going to see a TV show. You're going to see a cartoon, all linked. And when it fails, because it will fail because it just won't work, they're trying to do the game. Obviously, games separate, but Disney can work films into the TV shows. You've got the films, they're the films. TV shows then fill in gaps.
Yeah.
Not only with the Star Wars series, but especially with the Marvel series, how they fitted everything into the timeline. DC are trying to do that, but because they have never done it before, and they're trying to go right across all media, I just don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to fail, and it's a big mistake. I think the game should be a whole separate thing. Call it, give it a different name, DC Legends or DC Elseworlds, anything else, so none of the games connect to the films or the TV shows, because it's just not going to work, and it's going to be awful, and that's just making the likes of Rocksteady are just going to be making what James Gunn tells them they're making, and tells them how they're going to have to do the story. Because the story, as he said when he did that announcement, whatever that game is, however that game ends has to tie into the next film and TV show. So they are going to be told what characters they're using, who are playing them, the likenesses, the story they can tell, how it's got to end to connect to the next thing. That's just, to me, that is taking all creative freedom away from them. They are literally going to just be sat there and told, this is what you're doing, make it into a game. That's it. That's my opinion. How I feel about it is that is what they're going to do. They're no longer going to have the freedom they had. They're no longer going to be able to do things how they've done them. They're going to be told by James Gunn and upper executives, this is the game you're doing. This is what it's going to be about. This has how it ends and how it connects to the next film. And I just think the days of Rocksteady being as good as they've been with the Arkham series, I think they're done. I think Suicide Squad's the first nail.
That's definitely a possibility, and especially because, like you said, they get everything from James Gunn. That's going to make him tone deaf, because everyone wanted Henry Cavill to stay as Superman, and he's basically like, fuck the haters, I don't give a shit. That's exactly how he was. He's like, I don't care. I brought him. So Henry Cavill left the Witcher series, and he comes back thinking he's going to be Superman, and then he gets fired. It's like, are you kidding me? So it's like that level of being tone deaf is going to bite him in the ass. Now, you look at Electronic Arts that used to be tone deaf, and they're actually listening to fans right now. Like, you look at them sending the poll out saying, hey, would you guys like to see Dead Space Remake 2 and 3? I mean, that's exactly what we need to see in gaming, is gaming companies say, hey, what would you guys like to play? That's what we need.
Yeah, but we already know we're not getting that, because James Gunn's told us we're not. That's not how it's going to work. And don't get me wrong, some of the films look exciting. I do believe, I can't remember what film website I seen it in, they've actually tested the new Aquaman film in front of a few audience people.
Yeah.
Apparently is the worst film DC have ever made. Like, beyond bad.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It's like Warner Brothers. They're gonna put only so much faith into James Gunn. If he delivers, they'll keep putting faith in him. But if he drops a couple of these bombs, they're gonna be like, you know what? All these other projects are getting put on ice, and we need to figure this out. So he doesn't have a blank check. Like anybody else. They're like, oh, he was so hot in Marvel, so we're gonna see what he can do for us. But if he drops the ball with 2 or 3 projects, you can rest assured that him controlling all of this is going to be put on ice.
Yeah, but it's how much time and money and reputation gets dragged further down before they realise that. But that's just me. What about you, Luke? Do you think that Rocksteady are going to have this sort of restriction? Do you think maybe they could be the exception to the rule and be part of the other thing where they could make their own thing and it's not classed as in the main timeline, or not, because Rocksteady is the main game studio really for aren't they? So it's hard to look at it and think that they're not going to be able to. They are going to be able to do what they want.
Yeah, I think it depends on how strict kind of James Gunn's going to enforce that edict, and rather how strict then Warner Brothers will be in enforcing it. I think it's silly, and I think James Gunn's, his plan is just stupid, to be honest. I don't think he really appreciates that we're not in like 2001 anymore, right? Like you can't make successful games out of movie tie-ins. It just doesn't happen. And I thought it was really ignorant as well about the biggest thing was, we'll have the same actors. Like, well, no, because first of all, that's then going to cost you a lot more money, right? And secondly, that just absolutely shits all over the voice acting community, because it's, these people that would otherwise have great opportunities, and to be honest, probably play some of these characters better than the live action counterparts, are no longer going to be able to do that. Like, can you imagine if and just an example, but if Rocksteady were building Suicide Squad now, and James Gunn said, you actually you can't have Kevin Conroy as Batman anymore because our plan is to have X as Batman, so you're gonna have to put him in the game. Like
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah. Well, he's an Elseworld character now.
He is, yeah.
So he's not in the DCU, but like, can you imagine that? Like, it would just be ridiculous because he'd be like, no, well, Kevin Conroy is Batman for games. Like, he is the guy.
He is, yeah.
Rest his soul. But it's just stupid, and I can't see Rocksteady being okay. Like, not that they'll have much choice, but I can't see them being okay with that. And I'd hope that they would drop the plans for this. But as Sentinel says, like, it's not as if James Gunn will just have the opportunity to do that whenever he wants. Like, he'll have to have some successes before I think he tries to implement this across the games as well. Because otherwise you've got studios that are just like IP devs for hire, essentially. Just tell us a story, tell us the actors, tell us everything, and we'll build a game out of it. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Actually, something? I bet I already know who's going to be playing Batman if they do him in the games. It's going to be Michael Keaton because he's in the new Flash film. Michael Keaton. Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for it yet?
Yes.
Yeah. The Flash. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you something. It was awesome to see, Ezra, whatever his name is a scumbag as far as I'm concerned, and doesn't deserve to even be in this film. But at the end of the day, they've already done the film. But yeah, seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman and back in the suit, the original suit, really it was awesome, and I could see that he's going to be playing it across now. They're bringing him back full time. Comes out with a walker every now and again, and
wheels him out. Yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
Oh dear. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just not going to work because film actors, they're good at what they do in film, but as we've seen in many games, having actual film actors do game voiceovers just doesn't work. And the worst one I think I can remember off the top of my head was Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 5, Kiefer Sutherland. That was awful. I think he did the lines he recorded, I think he did over the phone. There was no tone. It was the same. Awful. Absolute awful. But yeah, I think it's a big mistake. Right. Let's move on because we've literally spent an hour and 40 minutes on the state of play. Oh, Jesus. Right. So we'll get through some of these a bit quicker if we can, so we're not holding everyone up for too long. Elden Ring's first expansion, Shadow of the Erd Tree has been announced. Erd Tree has been announced. So this is stories from Jordan Midler over at the VGC. Elden Ring's first expansion, Shadow of the Erd Tree, has been officially announced. The news came via the official Elden Ring Twitter account, which wrote, "Rise, tarnished, and let us walk a new path together." An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring, Shadow of Erd Tree, is currently in development. We hope you look forward to the new adventures of Lands in Between. No other details were given or what the expansion may entail. Luke, I'll come to you first. Is this something you're looking forward to? Was you expecting some DLC, and what could it be?
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. I've still not finished Elden Ring, but I have played about 35 hours of it. I need to go back. It's an incredible game. Was expecting it. They always do DLC for their Souls games, apart from Sekiro. They didn't do any for that. I don't think. So, and just, based on how just insanely successful Elden Ring has become, it's, it just makes sense to do DLC, doesn't it? Because it will sell a lot of copies. So, what it will be, I mean, it should be in keeping with their other DLCs, you know, like the Old Hunters for Bloodborne and then the various ones for the Dark Souls games, which is, you know, they do DLC right from software. They do it in the same way that CD Projekt Red do it and did it for The Witcher with Blood and Stone and the other one. No, sorry, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone.
Yeah.
Which is like a brand new area, new weapons, bosses, environments, like everything, like a big chunk of extra game. So, and the concept art seemed to hint at that. There may be a few signs from the concept art that it's a prequel, which would be really interesting, or like a prequel DLC. It might not be, but there were a few hints in that concept art. So, I'm really looking forward to it. It will be really successful.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna say From Software. It's gonna sell millions of more copies. It's obviously going. I'm assuming it's going to be a paid expansion. I don't think it's going to be anything that's free. Because I think generally they have like a charge for all the expansions they've done. I think, if I remember rightly. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Sentinel, what about yourself? Are you an Elden Ring fan? I like to walk the lands in between.
Oh, I haven't bought Elden Ring yet. You know, I plan on picking it up eventually, but I just have so many new games and shit that I've been playing. I'm like, I don't even have time to devote to Elden Ring, you know. And it's like, I know that a lot of people have played Elden Ring and have said how great it is, and it is definitely a game that I want to check out. But you know, right now I just don't have the time, and I feel like Elden Ring is kind of one of those games that it deserves your time, you know. And when you play it, you really want to learn the combat and just how everything works in the world to really get the best experience out of it. So when I do have more time, I'm definitely going to pick it up. I am excited about any DLC, obviously, that comes out. But unfortunately, I just don't have time right now, you know. So it'll have to be something that I pick up at a future date, even if it releases this summer. I mean, look at how many games we have coming out this year, you know. It's like we got Resident Evil 4, Hogwarts Legacy just came out. I picked it up. I haven't even touched it because I'm going through The Last of Us right now. So it's like I have so many, and I know Luke can relate because he said before he just didn't have time for some of these things he wanted to play, you know. So it's something that I'd love to check out, but unfortunately I just don't have the time, so I'll have to pick it up later on, you know. But I am interested.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I played Elden Ring. I kept getting killed right near the start by this stupid guy on a horse. No matter what I did, he just chased me and killed me. So I went straight to Xbox and got a refund. I just said, kid bought it by mistake. He stole my card, and I got a full refund.
Your skills are slipping. You got to stop playing so much Marvel Snap. See, because you know what? It's like BMG. He'll go to the laundromat and he'll sit in between two old ladies, and they're all playing Marvel Snap, all three in a row. You got to stop that shit. Be a real gamer. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I tell people when I'm at work, and you know, when people ask me how I'm doing, I'll say, "Yeah, I'm fine. Have you heard of this game called Marvel Snap? Oh, it's an awesome game." And I'll park up, you know, meter's still running, and I'll whip it out. I'll show them a match, and there you go, another happy customer.
Wow, you know what? They need to be sending you like a hat or a T-shirt or something because you're out there advertising for them, free advertising.
They've told me no. They've already told me no. I even said I would pay for them, and they still told me no.
Wow.
Yeah, wouldn't have it. So their loss. I'll just keep playing the game. It'll do me. No. Elden Ring's just not. It wasn't for me. And like I say, there's so many games coming out. I'll be making time for Jedi Survivor. That'll be definitely a high priority.
Yeah.
If, and this is a big if, because the rumor is Starfield's showcase is going to be announced this week. Is it this week or early next week? There is the rumor that's floating around. So if we get that and we get the release date June, hopefully, for Starfield, I'm probably going to get lost in that for a very long time, as I did with Skyrim. Skyrim, I think I just put months and months and months into and didn't really play anything else because I was just so in that world and, you know, enjoyed everything it had to offer. So, and I think Starfield's going to be the same. It's something I'm going to get lost in for a long time until the likes of Spider-Man comes out and whatever else we're going to find out from PlayStation, before E3 time this year. But we'll see. Right, let's move on because we're really pushed for time. Exclusive. Ubisoft is going all in on Assassin's Creed with 4 more games already planned. This comes from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming.
Oh, Ubisoft, Jesus Christ. 4 more already.
We've only got 6, so another 4. That's about right,
Fucking Ubisoft.
For it, baby. I'm all for it. Oh, yeah. How could I forget? Assassin's Creed Mirage is out this year. In fact,
yes.
Yeah.
April? May?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How did I forget that? I'll give myself 40 whips later for letting Yves more down. Hello, my name is Yves Gilmore. Do not forget, Assassin's Creed Mirage is out this year, and make sure you play it. Thank you. Oh, dear.
Wow.
Ubisoft officially announced the future of Assassin's Creed in September 2022, revealing a total of 4 games in development: Mirage, codename Red, codename Hex, and codename Jade. Was it codename Jade? Is that the mobile game that you can actually? Yeah. I think I pointed a few people that you could actually play it. Did you manage to play it, Luke? Because I can't play it on my phone; it won't let me.
No, it's it said I was outside of the playtest region, so it basically geo-tracked me to Jersey and was like, no, you can't play it, which is a shame because I would have been able to definitely run it and stuff and play it, but I've seen some footage of it. Yeah, which is a shame because I would have liked to experience that on mobile.
It looks good. It does look good.
It did look, for a mobile game, it actually looks really, really good. Yeah.
Kill the battery on your phone within minutes, but it looked good. Looked good.
Yeah, you'd be dead after about 20 minutes or something, I think. But it's.
Yes.
It looked like they're trying to do like a fully fledged AC game, but on mobile, which is cool.
Yeah, no, definitely good. And it's a shame I couldn't play it either, but we'll just have to wait till it releases, and then I still won't be able to play it on my phone. Ubisoft officially announced its Assassin's Creed multiplayer offering, which is called Project Invictus. That's it. In total, 6 Ubisoft games are already well into development, with the yet-to-be-announced Project Nexus, a VR title. That's for you, Luke. Expected to be officially revealed at the E3 later this year, which Yves Guillemot did come out and say Ubisoft have got a lot to show this year and we'll show it at E3 if it happens, which is quite worrying when they're in all these planning stages and we still don't actually, if like Ubisoft don't know if it's actually happening or not, I think I'd be worried at this point, being so close to E3 time, but
I don't think we'll be hearing anything about Beyond Beyond Good and Evil 2. Seems like they're having issues with it.
Yeah, I've got a story there. We'll get through this one and then we'll jump onto that one if we got time. Yeah, we'll make time.
You know what though, right quick, I just want to say that I do love Assassin's Creed. I love the series, but I do kind of feel it became bloated, and them tightening the story up more in the new Assassin's Creed game that comes out this year is that's a bright spot for the franchise, and I hope they really learn from their past mistakes to make Assassin's Creed a great franchise. Once again,
There's no such thing as a bad Assassin's Creed game.
I mean, it depends on who you ask, I guess.
If you're a true fan of the Order, you've got your blinkers on and everything's perfect. There's not a problem.
Right.
I was gutted when they stopped doing a game every year. Absolutely gutted. I was wounded. That was one thing I looked forward to every year. I used to stand outside game, with my little hood on and my scarf. Please, sir, can I have a copy of Assassin's Creed? I'm 20-year-old man. Stop it.
Wow.
Oh dear. Where was that? Insider gaming sources have revealed that 3 more fully fledged titles are also in conceptuals and prototype phase, with the addition of Nexus 2 already being discussed. Codename Nebula, Raid, and Echoes. Each of the pitched Assassin's Creed titles will be developed by different studios and will have vastly different play styles from its predecessors. They are going all in with Assassin's Creed and some other major franchises, one source has said. Ubisoft's Sophia, known for co-developing Assassin's Creed Free Liberation and Assassin's Creed Rogue, has pitched Project Nebula, an Assassin's Creed title that will have 3 different settings: India, Aztec Empire, and Mediterranean. Ubisoft Chengdu, whether I pronounced that right or not, I have no idea, has pitched Project Raid, a free-to-play 4-player cooperative title that will be PvE. It's believed that the title's characters will be from all the Assassin's Creed universe. Well, I think it's fair to say that one's a flop already. Don't even need it.
Just sounds like the most Ubisoft game in the world, doesn't it? Let's do a free to play. It's like Ubisoft Bingo. It's like free to play, 4-player co-op, PvE.
Oh Jesus!
It's Assassin's Creed X defiant.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed as well. For God's sake, Assassin's Creed. Why are we having a 4-player PvE game in Assassin's Creed?
Oh no, it's good. It's just got failure written all over it. Ubisoft Annecy, known for developing the multiplayer portion of games like Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell, as well as co-developing The Division 2 with Massive Entertainment, has pitched Project Echoes, which has been described as a multiplayer title that will use Ubisoft Scalar technology. That, again, sounds awful. Absolute awful. Apart from that, getting this, looking far in the future of more Assassin's Creed game. I don't think it's anything we really needed to know now. I think they're kind of getting ahead of themselves with diving all in. Really, they should be, let's see what Mirage does. Let's see how well that does. Let's see the fan reaction, the reception to that game, and maybe that will help us direct the other games we are making. Yeah, they're going to keep doing the big RPG because it's successful, whether you were a fan of Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla. And people said Valhalla was just too much. Odyssey, good. Origins was the first attempt, and it was quite a good game. So we know we're going to see them because they just you look at all Valhalla's content, they've literally had to announce, right, we're done with it now. But all the expansions they've done are really good. In fact, they're better than the main story of the actual game. Yeah. So we know they're going to keep doing them because it makes them money. But it'd be nice if they alternate with, you have the smaller titles like Mirage, and I think really they should be waiting to see what that game does to see where they go further. But to get even further ahead into the future of these other games, does that, to you guys, would you say we really do need a change in Ubisoft management before all Ubisoft is just pure Assassin's Creed games and doing nothing else? Or is this a good thing to have this roadmap out in place? Sentinel, come to you first. What do you think? Is this a good thing or a bad thing from Ubisoft?
I think they need to fire everyone who's in a management position at Ubisoft. When you're in management, everything is your fault.
Yep. Yeah,
you look at all the problems they've had throughout the years, being tone deaf to the employees, sexual assault, all this other crazy stuff that's happened. It's like, if you're in management and you're not aware of this shit, it means you need to be paying more attention to your employees and what's going on underneath you. If you're the senior manager and you are aware of this, then you're part of it. You're part of it. You're either contributing to it or you're covering up. But either of those instances, obviously, management's wrong and you got to remove it. Even if you own the company, doesn't matter. You got to kick rocks because you need someone in who understands. That one employee, whenever they had the Q&A, had said, "Why are we chasing trends when we should be setting them?" From Ubisoft, a Ubisoft employee said this. That's 100% how the boss for the company needs to think. Because you look at games they had in the past that were cutting edge, like Far Cry 3. We'd never really seen anything like it. And so many people loved Far Cry 3 because at the time it was setting the trend. Ubisoft needs to be like that if they're ever to come back as popular as they were. And I think with Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's going in the right direction, but you got to clean out management. You can't have management who has been there for the past 10 years when all these problems are present to run a company and expect it to run better because it's not going to. You got to get rid of them.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, it needs that clean sweep, out with the old, get in the new, get fresh blood in there, people that can actually think have a bit of a different direction. But I love Assassin's Creed. Big fan of Assassin's Creed. But
yeah.
That is too much. That is planning way ahead. There's so much more IP. They could change things, do something different, create something new. I don't want a 4-player co-op free-to-play game. I don't want another one that's probably going to be a battle royale game. We don't need that in Assassin's Creed. It should just be a single-player, story-driven game. Yeah, the original story kind of got absolutely twisted, split, and no one had the hell know what was going on. But it was just fun being an assassin in really amazing history time periods. That's pretty much what everyone wants to play him for. But the direction that they're going, I just don't think it's going to be good for the franchise, and it's going to end up doing what it did originally when it was a yearly release, little changes, and the games just got worse and worse, and then they pivoted. So I don't think it's good. Luke, what about you? Are you excited for your 4-player PvE free-to-play game? Is that really get more faith into Ubisoft?
Not really, no. It's just typical Ubisoft, isn't it? I mean, to some extent, it's a bit of a silly leak because it's not as if there will probably be many AC games, in conceptual development, concept stage, but how many of those actually, go into full development, we don't know. Because I'm sure there's been many AC games that have been cancelled, for example. But the problem is that it kind of speaks to Ubisoft, again, not really understanding how to confront the kind of crisis that they're in terms of, not able to establish franchises or chasing trends. But because all they're doing is then saying, okay, well, we've got this one really successful series that we're kind of reliant on, let's just double down into it. And that kind of can work if you treat it like, let's say, Square Enix treats Final Fantasy, which is, they don't try and make tons of Final Fantasy games. They try and make, a mainline entry, and that takes a number of years. But try and make it extremely high quality. Going into remakes, which Ubisoft could do. There's no reason why they couldn't start remaking Assassin's Creed games as a holdover. And then kind of little projects around that, maybe old releases of, like Crisis Core, for example, for Final Fantasy, like something that could be successful, but it's not going to blow people away or be like a mega success, but it will keep, it's kind of not a high development budget and easily profitable sort of thing. But Ubisoft are just like, well, we'll just throw resource at this franchise and we'll just make lots of stuff because people will buy it. But people will not buy it because, you get either two types of fatigue in gaming. You either get franchise fatigue, or genre fatigue, or actually there's the third type, which is service fatigue as well. So if they start mixing Assassin's Creed with a service like this live, this free to play one, it's just not gonna take off. It's not gonna work. People also don't play Assassin's Creed. They're not multiplayer games. So like they don't play them to live in multiplayer worlds. So why do Ubisoft think that that's a good route for it? It's just not. But that's the direction they're going in. So, let's watch all but one of them fail miserably, probably.
I think, you know what, I want to say that if they had like a co-op Assassin's Creed game, I would say that's as far towards multiplayer as they'd want to go. Like you and another assassin working on taking down 2 different targets. Yeah. If they implemented that properly, that would be amazing. Because you look at like Assassin's Creed Unity, when they first started with the new combat system, and you'd have one target, but it's hard to get to that target. If you had one assassin like drawing the attention of the bad guys on one side, and you had the other assassin working his way to the target, that sort of teamwork in an Assassin's Creed game would be phenomenal. And you could still build a story around that. But I understand Ubisoft is going to want to have, like you said, the whole multiplayer thing. And it's like, I think co-op is as multiplayer as you need to get. Outside of that, I don't think it belongs in an Assassin's Creed game, because people are in there to get lost and kind of, for the whole single player story focus, Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I think Ubisoft need to disappear for a while, try and figure things out. But until there's a management change and Yves Guillemot's not there, I don't think anything's going to change. Oh, sorry, my mic's acting up. Sorry about that. I don't know. Maybe because it's probably the most it's been used in a while. Oh, I've frozen. Can you hear me now? Am I all good?
Can't hear you, but you're just a bit robotic.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I can hear through your thing. Right. I'll tell you what. We'll call it a night, because we'll go over the 2-hour mark. Sentinel, can you lead us out on that? Because I'll go quiet.
Yeah, sure. That's cool. Thank you, everyone, for showing up in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. Dimber, of course, always here. We greatly appreciate it. Stubbs, thank you for dropping in. Let me see. Masuko, thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. Darren, thank you for, contributing to our chat and our podcast. We greatly appreciate it. If I am forgetting anyone, I do apologize. We appreciate every single person that does watch this podcast, and for those of you that do check it out later that you're not catching it live, we appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for checking it out. Obviously, if you know someone else that might enjoy this podcast, definitely share it with them. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel as well. Luke, why don't you tell our viewers, listeners, where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. I'll keep it short. Go follow me at Luke Steele 90 on Twitter, and I'm also on the Indie Game Podcast with the Indie Gamer, and we've got a podcast coming up soon-ish. No firm date yet, but it's coming. So go check that out on YouTube as well.
Nice. Thank you for being on our show. Always a great guest. Always great to have you on. BaldManGamer and myself, we will be on XBL tomorrow. That's Xbox Live Party Podcast. It is on the same channel. It's going to be at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's going to be at 8 o'clock your time. Correct, BMG? 8 o'clock UK time. So definitely check it out tomorrow. You can find myself and BMG both on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are up under our names. Of course, BaldManGamer and SSGsentienl. You can check us out on Twitter. And of course, you can check us out on the XPN network. We're pretty much here every single week on Wednesdays, PSN Party Podcast. Sometime if there's an event like a live stream from State of Play or E3 or something, that might get moved around, but you can always check out the XPN network Twitter page, and we'll pretty much have an update there. So, ahead of time, we'll let you know if we're not going to be able to be there. But anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for everyone watching and listening. Again, thank you, Luke Steele, for being our guest. We greatly appreciate it. And I hope everyone that's watching this, listening to this, that we hear you or see you tomorrow in our podcast. Again, we greatly appreciate it. Share it with others who may not know about it yet. And don't forget to subscribe to XPN Network. This is Sergeant Sentinel. Take it easy. Have a good night.